Alrighty then, so here we go. Okay, and hey, Woody, Dinger, yep. Alrighty then. As always, guys, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm. Hopefully, we can get some more people in here. Um, hey, Woody, how you doing today? How'd your day go today? We wait for a few more people to come in before we get started. Woody, you disappear on me again. There we go. There's the like. Okay. Had a big meal at my favorite Mexican restaurant. Ah, that's cool. Right, and to the lurkers out there, you're always invited to comment when you feel up to it. Yeah, so that's cool, Woody, that you got out and were able to go enjoy a nice meal there. I guess it's what? It's probably about 9 o'clock where you're at, or is it already? I think Arkansas is still in the Central Time Zone, right? Drexel, Lord of Simpson Cox. Hey, man. Thank you for dropping in, my friend. Hey, thumbs up. As always. We're just waiting. We're just waiting on some more people to come in. Drexel. So how'd your day go today? Anything exciting happen for you? Leto's here. Hey, Leto. Hey, Mike, Woody, and Drex. Hey, Leto. So yeah, we got 4 people in here now. So let's see if anybody else comes in. Let's see. How are you, Mike? All right. Got my vaccine first shot. Okay. Well, hopefully it doesn't make you sick. Hmm. Hmm. Anyways. Well, let's see. 3 minutes. So it looks like we have like 4 people in here, so we might actually get started a little on the early side tonight since we had a nice little crowd already. 4 or 5 people. No, but I got a strange use to have my period. Oh, okay. Strange urge to have my period. Okay. That was a joke. Yes, I know. You play D&D? I guess Drexel's asking. Is Drexel's asking Leto there if you play D&D or not? Oh, I was asking you, Mike Lavella. No, I don't have any kind of gaming. I play some games online, but for the most part, they're more like PC games. I don't play a lot of console type games. I mean, I do. I have played Yu-Gi-Oh on Steam in the past, But other than that, I usually play like and Robert's here. Hey Robert, let's see. I think he's actually he just acknowledged that he was that I actually though did watch Dungeons and Dragons as a kid back in the 80s when that was on as a cartoon. I did do that. Hail Xenu, fellow Gakians. We may begin. I have arrived. Hey Robert, looks like you got here right on time. And the count is going up. I'm glad for that. Let's see. Hello, Robert. So let's see. We got I know Woody. So we got like 4 or 5 people in here. Okay, so with that, then we can probably go ahead and, as always, guys, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm. So hopefully, when I got my second vax shot, I started hearing the Mexican radio stations through my teeth at night. Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop game. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Drexel. Let's see. I got Dungeon Master books. Was gonna suggest that maybe you could set up some sessions with us and stream it. Draw in more. Well, yeah, really, actually, I think Leto is more the gaming streamer. I'm more, I focus more on just overall niche. I'm not as big into the gaming side of things. I'm more into like comics, cartoons, animes, that kind of thing, and some pro wrestling. It's what they say. It's supposed to tie in with the new 5G towers. Nope, I'm not. I stopped gaming on here for now. Yeah, well, you were. You probably know more about how to do it than I do, Leto. That's all I was getting at. I realize you said you were taking a break from it, so. But anyways, yeah, it looks like we got 4 or 5 people in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and we're already up to 8 minutes. Okay, so here we go. So basically, I have 5 stories tonight, all from Bounding into Comics. Let's see, Robert saying something here. When I got my second vax, I began to understand the Mexican radio stations on the radio, which was spooky as I didn't speak Spanish. I'm Chad, so I cannot play. Okay. I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican, radio. Bom, 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 bom. Love is kind of spooky with a spooky little girl like you. Spooky. Anyways, so now let's get to. So I'm gonna go over what we'll be covering for tonight. As I said, 5 stories. All of them I'm gonna cover from Bounding into Comics, including, of course, one of them being the sale that everybody's kind of been waiting on to go through finally. The Crunchyroll sale to Sony, that sale has gone through. I'll be covering that article from Bounding into Comics. Uzaki-Chan wants to hang out. Receives a 2022 release date. We'll probably start with anime related stories tonight. On the comic side of it, of course, DC Comics retcons Tim Drake, shows him attracted to men. So now they're pitching the idea that Tim Drake in DC is bisexual. That I was hearing. And then let's see. And then Kevin Graveau has signed a new publishing deal with Xenoscope. Announces a new series. We'll be covering that. And also, the Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic scores for Marvel's What If series, that those have come in, so we'll be covering that. So basically, those are the 5 stories we'll be kind of covering tonight. Let's see what else is being said. Well, everyone is gay or bi. Oh boy. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna cover that story or not, but I felt, one, I obviously needed something to help fill at least a few of them, but also it is what it is. I'm sure we'll probably have some commentary on it. So, anyways, now that we're getting past the 10-minute mark here, in comic book now, I guess. Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll have a lot to probably say about it. So, anyways, let's do this. We get to the stories now. Life is kind of crazy with a spooky little girl like you. Spooky! All right, so now here we go. We're gonna start with some anime stories first here. This being the bigger one right here. Sony's Funimation completes 1.175 billion US dollar purchase of Crunchyroll from AT&T. Published earlier today, written by Spencer McCooley. Following a month-long delay prompted by an antitrust probe from the United States Justice Department, which I know even Yellow Flash had some criticism on that. Sony's Funimation has successfully completed its purchase of AT&T's Crunchyroll division, finalizing the deal to the final tune of $1.175 billion USD. Now, yes, Funimation on the dub side of it has become more or less a monopoly. I mean, yeah, you still have Sentai still pretty active, Bang Zoom, but a lot of stuff's being funneled through Funimation at this point in Sony. So that's the unfortunate thing. So, as detailed by Sony in an August 9th press release yesterday, announcing the completion of the sale, Sony Pictures Entertainment will acquire Crunchyroll's 5 million subscriber video on demand subscribers across more than 200 countries and territories, which will provide, quote unquote, the opportunity for Crunchyroll and Funimation to broaden distribution for their content partners and expand fan-centric offerings for consumers. Well, we know that that's a load of BS because they keep changing it around. And I think we're hearing that even the Japanese are starting to get a little tired of Funimation doing that. So some Funimation acting well. Hey, Solid, welcome to the stream. As always, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. If you guys can do that, help me out with that. That'd be great. Funimation acting like it bought it. Laugh out loud. Sony did that funny don't give yourself the credit. Well, they're just, Leto, they're just riding Sony's coattails. Okay, solid. I meant in comics, everyone written to be gay, it seems. I like the MV visuals used for pop cult. Okay. So, anyways, back to the article here. We are very excited to welcome Crunchyroll to the Sony group, quote unquote, said Kenichiro Yoshida, chairman, president, CEO of Sony Group Corporation. Quote, anime is a rapidly growing medium that enthralls and inspires emotion among audiences around the globe. Well, yeah, but you guys but when you start changing the content to fit a narrative, you start to dilute that, dude. The alignment of Crunchyroll and Funimation will enable us to get even closer to the creators and fans who are at the heart of the anime community, unquote. Yeah. Uh, let's see. Translation. We want to get closer so we can force more of our woke BS on you. Yoshida closed out the statement by expressing his optimism towards the future, noting, quote, we look forward to delivering even more outstanding entertainment that fills the world with emotion through anime. Well, if that's really how you feel, then stop changing stuff around to fit your agenda. Tony Vinciquerra, chairman and CEO of Sony Pictures Entertainment Incorporated, added, quote, Crunchyroll adds tremendous value to Sony's existing anime business, including Funimation and our terrific partners at Aniplex and Sony Music Entertainment Japan, unquote. And it's kind of funny because, as I understand it, as I had heard, Crunchyroll actually started out as a pirate site, from what I understand. So now you guys can probably correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I thought I heard somewhere they actually started out as a pirate site, and I guess they got legitimized by becoming part of like Funimation and all that. But yeah. Quote, with Crunchyroll and Funimation, we are committed to creating the ultimate anime experience for fans and presenting a unique opportunity for our key partners, publishers, and immensely talented creators to continue to deliver their masterful content to audiences around the world, unquote. Vinciquerra continued. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Golden Wind episode 38. And of course, that was dubbed out here in LA, of course, not by, I think, might have been Bang Zoom or Studiopolis that recorded that. Oh, yes, me too. No, I think you're right. Okay, so anyways, he further praised how, quote, with the addition of Crunchyroll, we have an unprecedented opportunity to serve anime fans like never before and deliver the anime experience across any platform they choose, from theatrical events, home entertainment, games, streaming, linear TV, everywhere and every way fans want to experience their anime. Unquote. Translation, we're getting the monopoly, whether you guys like it or not. We're going to shove whatever we want into your face, and you're just gonna have to sit there and like it. Quote, our goal is to create a unified anime subscription experience as soon as possible, unquote. He concluded. Quote, we don't want any competition. We want it all for ourselves because we're a bunch of greedy people. All right. So, anyways, as we continue on with the article, as noted by Sony, the quote premier anime direct to consumer service, unquote, was purchased for a total of 1.175 billion US dollars. The sales price first reported alongside the deal's initial announcement in December 2020. AT&T will reportedly, as expected, quote, use the proceeds from this transaction to help support its debt reduction efforts. Yeah, AT&T has been taking quite a number of big money hits of late, the last couple of years. As of writing, exact details regarding the future merger of Crunchyroll and Funimation, respective offerings, whether or not the latter will make their full library of titles available, including the Dragon Ball series, on the streaming service are unknown. What do you make of Sony's purchase of Crunchyroll? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments down. Well, I was watching Yellow Flash's coverage on this, and I know he believes that what's liable to happen is with this merger now, they might ultimately shelve Crunchyroll to they might ultimately shelve Crunchyroll and just put everything on the Funimation site. And I know there are a lot of fans who are probably not going to be happy about that. I know Hirohei also talked a little bit about that. But I'll be right back, guys. The lighting in here is getting a little dim, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on some lights and all that. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back now. So let's see. So let's go ahead and get ready to move on to the next article here. Which is the Uzaki-Chan. We're at the 24-minute mark here. So let's see. Countdown to further outrage against Hana Uzaki begins as Uzaki-Chan Wants to Hang Out receives 2022 release date. Article written by Spencer McCulley, published earlier today. Nearly a year after her design sparked wave after wave of pearl clutching discourse, Hana Uzaki is officially set to bring back her bullying ways and likely set social media ablaze once more, as Uzaki-Chan Wants to Hang Out has officially received a 2022 release date. Now, guys, don't we all just wish we had a nice lady friend like that, like Uzaki-Chan? Somebody who just will do whatever they can to like bring us out of our our downside. Announced by series production studio Studio Engi via Comic Natalie on August 7th, which was last Saturday, I believe. The Uzaki-Chan Wants to Hang Out team also released the season's first key visual, which depicts Hana and Shinichi playing video games as the former's younger sister, Yanagi Uzaki, and de facto series mascot, Kusokat, look on. So here's the visual right here, I guess. In celebration of Studio Engi's announcement, as well as both the release of the manga's seventh volume and Hana's birthday, August 7th, series creator and original mangaka Take released a new illustration of the series' lead characters. Here we go there. Oh boy. While many fans are undoubtedly excited for the series' return, it's likely given the quote offense seeking quote unquote nature of the first round of discourse surrounding Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, that the release of its second season will revive the tired accusations that Hana's quote unquote busty body type and anime styled appearance were promoting the P word. The outrage essentially boils down to, as summarized by Twitter user at Thought Puncher, in an accusation they made when the series' first season began airing. Quote, she looks 5. She was designed to look 5. Stop trying to play mental gymnastics with the fact that you're attracted to children. Unquote. According to the according to the series data, I think she's supposed to be something like 18 or 19. She's not. Okay. And that looks, dude. If you think that looks like a to this dude, this I don't know, this thought puncher right here. If that young lady right there looks 5 to you, it's not everybody else who has the problem. It's you who has the problem. Okay. Maybe you're deflecting, as it were. Ah, we have okay. So here we go. We have some more people coming in. Mike, stop drooling me. Leto, sometimes I can't actually help that. I've always I've always had a situation like where most people like it just comes naturally for them to swallow. A lot of times I have to be somewhat aware of it. And if I'm like distracted or whatever, sometimes it'll just come out. Sometimes I'll just spit or maybe some of the drooling will come out, but I don't have as much conscious control as a lot of people with my saliva. I'm better at it than I was when I was younger, but that actually is something I've had issues with over the years. So laugh out loud. Boo. Hey 80. Hey 80. I am a ghost. You don't see me, Leto. Well, we haven't seen you in a while. We miss you. Miss you, 80. Okay, you say, I guess she's a cartoon. You dopes. Yeah, that's what we had to tell people like Thought Puncher, that she's an animation. She's not real, first off. And second off, what 5-year-old has breasts like that? The fact that he thinks that a woman that busty looks 5 years old, looks like a 5-year-old, it's not other people who like the show that have the problem. He's the one with the problem. I want to know where that guy lives, where 5-year-olds have a chest like that. Exactly, Woody. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. If that guy thinks that she looks like a 5-year-old, he's the one with the problem. As I said, maybe he's kind of okay. Oh yeah, I know the word now. Projecting. Hey, drooling because of the chest. It was a joke. Oh, well, yeah, because I know sometimes my saliva does come out like, but I figured I should explain that because I didn't know. I obviously didn't pick up idea it was a joke, but I am a spitter. I feel you, Mike. Well, yeah, as I said, for me, it's more of a case. You guys can even hear me now, just having a swallow. Most people can swallow like it, like it's automatic. It's like, for me, it's not always quite as automatic. Especially when I was younger. You know, I've just always been that, where they actually had to like sit there and actually teach me or get me to kind of program into my head, hey, you got to swallow every few words or whatever. So gonna clip this now. All right. And then Woody's got a face of some type there that I have no idea what that's all about. But anyway, so now continuing on with the article. The second season of Uzaki-Chan Wants to Hang Out was first announced in 2020 in a short preview that was aired immediately after the conclusion of the first season finale. As I said, I'm sure we all wish we had, for us guys, I'm sure we all wish we had a lady friend like that. A spunky girl who could kind of, get past our defenses and get us to open up. Anyways, are you excited for more Uzaki-Chan? Let us know your thoughts on social media. Yeah, I might. I mean, I haven't checked out the first season yet. I might check it out at some point. Even though, from what I understand, I'm not completely sure, but I think if Funimation got the license for it to dub it, I think I heard somewhere that Monica Real might be the one who may be doing her voice. So Monica Real. So, I thought you guys would swallow that. Wish I was a jerk. Would clip the swallow comment. Uh, I'll let it go now. I did laugh. Okay. All right. So, anyways, so getting ready to move on to the next set of articles here. Done with the anime portion of the stories. We're at 36 minutes. So we're through two of the first five stories. Okay. Huh. Right. So here's the one we were talking a bit about, and I know, from what I understand, I think RJ did a video on this actually earlier, um, as well. DC Comic retcons Tim Drake shows him attracted to men. The story was published earlier today, written by John F. Trent. DC Comics officially retconned Tim Drake by making him attracted to men in the latest issue of Batman Urban Legends. DC Comics previously hinted that Drake might be attracted to men back in Batman Urban Legends #4. In that story by Megan Fitzmartin and Belen Ortega, Drake has broken up with Stephanie Brown, aka Spoiler, telling Oracle, quote unquote, drop it, Barbara, and stop talking to my ex about me, unquote. Yeah. Stephanie Brown, okay, in DC Canon, Stephanie Brown is the daughter of one of Batman's kind of lesser enemies, Clue Master. So, um, she actually tried to become Robin for a while there, but then, you know, she, at least in post crisis stuff, but in response to this, Oracle tells Drake, quote, you need to slow down and take a look at yourself. Maybe Ivy Town University wasn't for you, but you won't figure out what is for you if you're busy trying to solve everyone and everything else because you're scared. You're so incredibly scared that if you use that big brilliant brain of yours to analyze yourself, what you find is going to change you. Following this conversation with Oracle, Drake meets up with a friend named Bernard, and the two go out to get burgers. However, the meetup is interrupted as the Chaos Monster appears and kidnaps Bernard. Now, in Batman Urban Legends #6, Drake has infiltrated Chaos Monster's lair in order to rescue Bernard. In the middle of the rescue, Drake and Bernard are surrounded by the Chaos Cult when Bernard tells him, quote, tell Tim Drake he helped me realize my true self, who I am. Tell him, well, he probably knows he's the smartest guy I've ever met, but tell him I wish we could have finished our date, unquote. Hmm. And I know what you were kind of talking about earlier, Leto, with the idea that it seems like they're making more and more characters gay, but but basically, it's like the thing is, are they doing it just to try to push an agenda or what? That's either way. I saw at Chris Chan stuff. Apparently, he took a picture with her um, at a convention. Her at a convention. Oh, with Monica. Comics are made for laughter. Well, that's what they're supposed to be. But as we've been discovering, a lot of the current quote unquote comic pros are like sitting there trying to push a narrative. It's like he passed on some lollipop powers to her. Their favorite truck. See. Yeah, he did way back in 2004. Um, you watch Unit 522, My Haunted. Anyways, guys, I see we have 6 people in here now, so that's cool. As always, guys, I appreciate any and all likes and shares. It does help with the algorithm. So I do thank you guys for that. Anyways, continuing on with the article here. After defeating the Chaos Cult and rescuing Bernard, the story concludes with Drake showing up at Bernard's house. Bernard proceeds to ask him out on a date, saying, quote, Tim Drake, do you want to go on a date with me? Unquote. Drake answers, quote, yeah, I think I want that, unquote. Now, granted, DC's been kind of, DC for maybe the last 15 years or so we've been seeing more and more, gay characters in comics, or, because I actually did back in the mid 2000s buy some issues of Gotham Central a little bit. And I do remember, Renee Montoya, who, if you guys remember, Renee Montoya was a character originally from Batman the Animated Series that, much like Harley Quinn and Livewire and a few others, they brought into the mainstream comic universe. And in the comics, they ultimately made Renee a lesbian. In fact, in the comics, Renee Montoya was actually for a while there involved with Batwoman Kate Kane. So, in the comics there, so. I wish the documentary vids are amazing. Yeah, the documentary vids are amazing now. Reefer Truckers are my fave. At Leto and Shannon. Was mortified by Chris's recent action. He's decided to put the documentary on hiatus until mid 2022. DC is abbreviation for. Oh, yeah, okay. Actually, technically, it's Detective Connors, but I know you're joking. As a former dispatcher, reefers means refrigerated. Okay. By the way, how far are you on the documentary? I'm at 12, I think. I'll watch him at work. All right, so getting back to the article then here, let's see. As Batman Urban Legends itself notes, Drake has only been interested in women in the past. Before this retcon, Drake was dating Stephanie Brown. In fact, Drake has been romantically involved with at least a half a dozen women in the past. They included Ariana Durchenko, Cassie Sandsmark, who is the current one. As I understand it, she's the current Wonder Girl in the DCU. Um, Zoanne Wilkins, Tam Fox, Madison Payne, and Barbara Gordon. Now that would be interesting because Barbara Gordon, well, unless they've retconned it to where they're a little closer in age, I think there's a bit of an age gap there, in that regard. What do you make of DC's retcon of Tim Drake? Personally, I think may just be another example of them trying to put, maybe push a narrative. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because they have actually, they have made, over the years, they have made certain characters like gay or lesbian or even bisexual. But at this point, you almost get the feel that, like, if they're doing it now, that's because they're doing it to push an agenda. Okay, so anyways, so there's that article. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next article here. Let's see, where are we at on time? Yeah, I'm kind of going through these a little fast. Yeah, I think I stopped when the pickle guy stole his date at the mall. Yeah, number about 5 viewers in here, so that's good. Thank you all for being here. As always, guys, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm. If you guys can continue to help me out with that, that'd be appreciated. Anyways, let's see now. So you already witnessed Blue Spike and Julie. Okay. All right. So getting on to the next article here. Let's see now. Underworld creator Kevin Graveau signs new publishing deal with Zenescope. Announces rise of the Jin series. Article by John F. Trent, published earlier today, here the 10th. Underworld creator and actor Kevin Graveau recently signed a 3-book publishing deal with Zenescope Entertainment. Not only did Graveau create Underworld, but he also starred in a number of films. He played the werewolf Reyes. Now, this particular spelling of the word Reyes right here, even though using it as name, it's kind of ironic because this version of Reyes actually means to tear down. Whereas the Reyes that we're all used to, R-A-I-S-E, means to build up or to uplift. But this particular spelling of Reyes, R-A-Z-E, means to tear something down. The 3-book deal will see Graveau's Darkstorm Comics and media company co-publish the titles with Zenescope. Graveau commented on the deal saying, quote, "I love the worlds that Joe and Ralph have created at Zenescope," unquote. He continued, quote, "They're exciting and full of the kind of action and characterization that make comics great. I've known them for quite some time, and we've been looking to do something significant together ever since we met," unquote. Quote, "I think we've found the right combination of ideas and properties that people will take notice of with the end goal of turning them into memorable television and movie franchises," unquote. Kevin Graveau added. This is Kevin Graveau right here. Let's see now. I agree it is just an agenda, but who cares about who loves who? Yeah. Aaron Disney could bet. No, he's not. In fact, Anonymous, I know that Aaron and Vic are actually pretty cool, so with each other. So yeah, I have. You watch The Matrix, or what you think about the bug scene? No, never watched The Matrix. Can't wait to hear what you think about a liquid quiz. Okay. Gran Torino or Nebraska. You plan on visiting Canada? Nope. Don't have the money to do anything like that. Can't wait. I heard good things about. Well, also, I don't know if anybody could go up to Canada because I know they're kind of trying to they're trying to keep their borders closed because of pandemic. So. I'll let you know when I get to it. Dartboard face. Is Elizabeth Maxwell better? As far as I know, she's not. She seems to do okay. I know she's one of the newer Funimation voice actresses. Sentai, Sentai, not Sendai. No, I actually think they're better than Funimation. They just, my own personal opinion, they just need to grow up here and stand up to Funimation more and really be more aggressive and competing against them rather than, you know, just laying down for them. So, anyways, Zenoscope co-founder and head of media development Ralph Tedesco also stated, quote, "We're thrilled to be working with Kevin on these new projects. He's a talented creator who has a fantastic track record of success," unquote. Quote, "He has such a quiet confidence in his storytelling, and that's a rare trait," unquote. Tedesco added, "The first book to come out of the deal will be Rise of the Jinn." And that is pronounced Jinn, magical entity from India, Middle East. It is the first of three books with the first book being 36 pages long. According to a press release from Zenoscope, the book, quote, tells the story of Tamara Brazil, a decorated police detective with stage 4 breast cancer and only a few months left to live, unquote. Quote, Tamara learns she's the descendant of an ancient race of jinn and is given the change to unlock her, given the chance to unlock her newfound abilities. In turn, she must ally herself with one of these supernatural beings who needs her help in stopping a war between two ancient orders of jinn. The official description on Diamond's Previews World website reads, quote, "Things couldn't be worse for Tamara Brazil, a highly decorated and venerable police detective with almost 15 years of experience on the job. Her world comes crashing down around her when her husband is murdered at the hands of a serial killer she had been pursuing," unquote. It continues, quote, "And to make matters worse, she is diagnosed with stage 4 um, breast cancer before she has a chance to bring the killer to justice. But as fate would have it, she is given a second chance at life when she discovers that she is a descendant of an ancient race of genies, with the power to cure herself and others," unquote. Quote, "However, there is a catch. She can only keep the power so long as she aids a pair of evil jinn, um, bring an ancient jinn named Argan back to life to aid them in a coming war amongst the other jinn of the world. A war which could usher in an age of misery and strife for mankind," unquote. The description concludes. The book will retail at $5.99 and will hit comic book shelves on October 13th, 2021. It is written by Graveau and features a main cover by Paolo Pentalena. Are you looking forward to what Kevin Graveau and Xenoscope have cooking up? Well, I mean, does sound a little bit interesting at least. So let's see what you guys have been saying since I last checked here. Let's see. Sentai is great. Let's see. Where is Sentai headquarters? It's in Houston. Funimation's in Dallas. Sentai's in Houston. So I will look who reading this as named Tamara has a special meaning for me. All right. Let's see now. The worst female voice actor at Funimation and Sentai. Um, what are you? Are you saying Monica Rial? There, Jeremy. I can't afford that. I can afford that, and will buy. Jamie Markey is a female dog. Okay. Um, Jeremy, if you can, we do try to keep the language clean here. I know sometimes it's um I know sometimes people can get a little excited and we'll blur it out, but we don't need to swear to get our points across here. All right? So just bear that in mind. Tara Platt, I don't think she's a bad actress. I mean, I may not agree with some of her. I mean, I know Tara, along with her husband Yuri Lowenthal, was involved in that whole "Be There," video back when the whole thing with Vic was starting up. But I may not necessarily agree with her ideological outlook, but I don't think she's a bad actress. I mean, the thing is that for the most part, these people are okay. Some of them are even good, good actors, voice actors, what have you. Okay, as people though, some of them do leave a bit to be desired. So, alrighty then. So let's see. We've got through. I have a thing for chubby redheads. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jamie is a chubby redhead. I mean, she can be a little spunky. And from what I've heard too, because I know people have commented on this, apparently Yellow Flash is big on redheads as well. So kind of got a bit of a thing for redheads. Anyways, before I get to this last article, I'll be right back. Got to step away from the computer. Before I go, of course, let me just catch these last chats here. What is your favorite anime? My all-time favorite anime is Yu Yu Hakusho. Mike, you are too nice. Believe being nice. Well, 80. Everybody has. As human beings, we all have a dark side. I'm no different. But you know, we got too much darkness in the world to begin with. So why would I want to contribute more to that darkness, right? Would use any asterisk be better? Like bleep that. Well, okay. For those, okay. Some of you have been here a while, like Leto and Woody. You get Leto and Woody know this. You know, Batgoat knows it as well. I know he's not here right now, but I'm, I'm of the opinion that if you feel like you have to swear to get your point across, then you're not. It's like, I mean, I know nobody here is quite like that, but I've seen where it's like every other word or 2 out of every 3 words, people gotta swear. Okay, and I know sometimes you can get upset and rightly so. There are times when it is appropriate to like just go off and swear, but it really does kind of show a lack of communication ability to swear. It's like I know sometimes in the heat of the moment it's very easy to get caught up, and we all will do the old FSA kind of thing. But ultimately, you show yourself as more mature and intelligent if you refrain from swearing to get your point across. Okay. But I'm from kind of an older generation too, so that's just how I feel about it. Doesn't I understand people today just feel like but that's just how I have always that's how I feel about it. I have noticed yet that Jeremy Person has been constantly changing his name and avatar. Yeah, I don't even know why he would be doing that, but I mean, he comes in and he asks if it's the same person doing it and stuff like that. I mean, I've let's see, from Poppy to Hillary Haig does French and I do know she did do one time she might have done a French accent, when she was playing Chloe in Noir. But Hillary's not the one they usually call on to do German accent. It's Tiffany Grant in Houston. Tiffany Grant's the one they they bring in to do the German accents, not Hillary. Hillary, I know, did do a French accent, when she played Chloe on Noir, but explain the Be There video. Um, okay, so this goes back to the beginning of the whole Vic situation when like people were starting to like accuse. Well, people have accused him over the years of doing a whole like everything being a creep to being a p word. But really have never really. None of them have really taken it to the police. They've never really presented any real evidence. A lot of the evidence they have presented has been more circumstantial and not really that big of a deal. But during the early days of the whole Kick Vic campaign, some of the voice act, there was a lot of angst that was built up between Vic's fans and those who are trying to, kick him out of the VA industry. So that what the Be There video was, it was hosted by Brittany Karbowski and John Swayze with a bunch of other VAs kind of chiming in. They're saying, no matter what side of the fence you on, we should be there for each other. We shouldn't have this divisiveness. They were trying to call for unity, even though they were trying to. Now, I don't believe like John or Brittany were, but basically they were trying to call for unity. Because of a lot of the angst that was going on because people were trying to cancel Vic. So that's what the Be There video. I don't know if it's still out there somewhere, but the idea was they were trying to calm everybody down, for it. So that's what the Be There video was. It goes back to the whole thing with the Vic situation. But anyways, let's see what else is being said here. You have to swear to get your point across. Your bleep. Now, in that context, I know Woody was trying to be funny there. What I meant to say, have you noticed yet? What that? So what you're saying is you think it's just one person just keeps coming in with different. I hadn't noticed. I know there have been a few people who just come in, just been randomly asking questions like that. Like, is this person a bad actor? Is this person a bad actor? Is this person in the studio a good person? I hadn't noticed. Solid. I mean, I don't mind answering the questions that they have, if and when I can. So let's see. Let's see what else is being said here. I grew up where only the women in my family said curse words. My dad never cursed. I am just swear in honor of my mother, as she taught me well. Yeah, I mean, and again, I know today in today's generation, a lot of people, people just think swearing is okay, but swearing is a sign of can be considered a sign of a lack of intelligence, and communication ability. So comics do show the time of times when they appeared. Mm-hmm. I don't really have to swear to get my point across. What happened is that swear words are this generation's whatever you call it. For example, Far Out. That's rad. That's heavy. It's cool. Um, some of that's true. Drags. Yeah. Sometimes some people will sometimes use swear words to kind of sound cool. It's like I think in some ways it's a form of rebellion when you swear because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stick it to the man. I'm gonna stick it to those old fogies who think that we should just speak clean all the time, and those duty heads and what have it's like um, pay attention to questions asked, and you'll see what I mean. Well, I see. Okay, solid. I do know that I get a lot of I get a lot of the same questions or same type of questions asked. Like I do get that. Whether it's now, granted, I haven't really necessarily picked up on whether or not it's just one person, as you said, changing names, or if it's multiple people. Okay, I don't have as much an issue with it because you know part of the thing is for us to make connections and I don't mind answering questions about if my perspective or what I know about VAs and stuff like that. But um, again, is considering that you're bringing this up, solid is. Do you believe there's a reason why I should be concerned about it, or is there a particular reason why you think I should be concerned about it, or be a bit more wary of it? I mean, because it sounds like Anyways, so words is also expressing freedom, considering that modern version of free speech is fairly new. Yeah, Drexel, I don't necessarily sit there and try to censor people. It's not like I very rarely will actually just outright say don't say that or whatever. You got a point there. Okay. I think there's just better ways to communicate than using swear words. Okay. Um, that's my point. People are going to say whatever they want. There's not much I can really do about it. I can just ask them not to, and they can make the choice as to whether or not they want to, comply or not. I'm not gonna browbeat them into not swearing or anything like that. It's their freedom to do so. I just express my viewpoint on it and leave it there. And I hope people understand what I'm saying, where I'm coming from with it. You know, but censorship was insanely bad, and not that long ago, George Carlin got arrested for. Yeah, I know. When he was still alive, I mean, well, George Carlin made a career out of swearing and making a lot of nasty jokes. I mean, that was his whole stand-up routine. Okay, and in that, as a skit, yeah, it is funny. Anyways, it's your favorite non-anime voice actor. Favorite well, I grew up a lot with Hanna Barbera, so I'd have to say Dawes Butler. Um, Josh Green, a bad actor. I don't even know who Josh Green is. Um, don't have an issue with it. Just something I noticed. Okay. Is really Haig? No, as far as I don't feel she's a bad actress. I think she's a pretty good actress. Um, 1978. I don't know what that's all about. Let's see. My mom was swearing long before George Carlin at 80 gives Mike a virtual hug and pat on his rear end. Okay. uh, R.I.P. George Carlin. Actually, what's kind of funny about you guys bring George well, we're talking a little bit about George Carlin here too. Aside, of course, I know. Again, he was an actor, comedian. A lot of his stand-up work revolved around using swear words and using swear words and foul language and dirty jokes and stuff like that. But on the flip side of that, and I don't know if he replaced Ringo Starr or Ringo Starr replaced. I think he replaced Ringo Starr. Back, I guess it was in the '90s. I think during PBS's Thomas the Tank Engine series. It also starred, of course, Dee Dee Khan was another one, and I think Branscombe Rint. Well, not Branscombe Richmond. Tom Jackson. George Carlin played the conductor on that series as well. A kids show where he didn't actually swear. It was a kids show though, so kind of an interesting thing there. 2029 asteroid. George had a pretty clean and cerebral act. I thought the 7 words you can't say on radio thing was just one of his joke themes. Well, it probably was. I said it was part of his George Carlin. Thomas the Tank Engine is what I'm talking about. Poppy Butt. Thomas the Tank Engine, which narrator. He was also the narrator on that, I believe. Conductor. Is Felicia a bad? Are you talking about Felicia Angel? I don't think she's a bad actress. And I don't, as actors and actresses, I don't think any of them are in terms of doing the job they do. I don't think none of them are bad actors or actresses. Okay. I think what I and like a lot of people have an issue with is them as people and how and what we saw saw come to the forefront, how they treated Vic. I think, but then I've seen, like, from some of them, like Monica Real, I've seen other examples where she's treated, even some of her own fans, and some of them treat their own fans, not so nicely. And Joe, I figured it's who you were talking about there. Yeah, as actors and actresses, I don't have an issue with their work. I think what I, like a lot of people, have an issue with is how they treat their fans at times, and how they treat some of even their coworkers, like Vic. In fact, it's kind of funny because Hiro Hay did a video on the Crunchyroll sale as well earlier today, and I did watch that, and he made an interesting comment about that. How back when a lot of these voice actors and actors did it because they loved the material, and now they've kind of got to the point where now it's like now they're just trying to push their own woke agenda forward, and that, I think, is what a lot of people are critical of them about. Of course, now Funimation, and I know Hiro Hay has I know, Flash has criticisms of Funimation. I know, hey, it said, I mean, in terms of some of the stuff they like, like sometimes their site doesn't always work the way that it should. I know been some complaints about that. Some people who tried to unsubscribe aren't allowed to, and then all that. So, as for their acting abilities, though, I don't have. I think they do all right on their acting abilities, but so yeah, so Funimation no con this year. Well, yeah, I think that one time they were. Are you saying no? Like they're not running a con, or are you saying that their voice actors are not going to cons? Because I haven't actually been following the con scene in a while because you know, um, but I think you can tell in a voice if they love what they do or just do for a pay. To an extent, but like and again, this goes back to kind of what Hirohei said in his video earlier today. Um, I think there was a time when a lot of the people at Funimation, did love what they do. You know, they really did a lot of great work over the years. You know, and they were not always the top brand. For a long time, it was like LA that was considered like if you go back and you watch some of the older Toonami blocks. Now, granted, back then they were more diversified. You'd have some shows that were dubbed in LA through Studiopolis for Viz, and through also for Bandai and Pioneer, Geneon, all that. Funimation was there, and then Sentai, of course, at the time, ADV was dubbed. Originally, was the one who dubbed Neon Genesis Evangelion. Of course, then Funimation got the rights to that. But they were like, and then you had some of the dubs that were coming out of Canada as well. So, but I do think that at one time, and I think it's still, I still like, I know Vic still loves, if he had started voice, I think he still loves that. I know there are a few of them who actually love doing the work they do. But I think the problem with it over the last, I don't know, 5-10 years here is that the entertainment, is that the mainstream entertainment, Hollywood and all that have heavily influenced entertainment across the board in terms of trying to push everything to the left. And now they're trying to, use their sphere of influence to corrupt people to think more like them. And I think that's the criticism that a lot of people like Flash, like myself, like Hirohei, like Tug, like Nick Rekieta all have. It's like, we don't need you to put your political beliefs in the dubs. They call it localization. Now, I understand sometimes, sometimes utilizing, let's say, like, like if you're going to refer to, let's say you're referring to somebody who's like a baseball player, right? So if you're gonna have Americans watching it, instead of referring to somebody like like Ichiro before he came to America, okay, or Hideki Matsui or somebody like that, you might refer to if you want to make a reference to a baseball player, you might refer him to like somebody like a Mike Trout or somebody like that. Yeah, it looks like I'm losing people. People dropping off there, it would seem. But anyway, I probably should get back to getting this last article because we've been talking a lot about, Which again, I don't mind talking about that kind of stuff, and answering those questions. Um, but wow, we're at an hour 26, so I should start to get going here, finish up, and wrap up here. No, you're okay. All right, well, let me get to this last article here that I was going to do here. Of course, this What If series has been getting talked about. I know I talked about it yesterday with the Peggy Carter, and I know Flash did a video on it earlier today with the Peggy Carter story. But here's another one about. So Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic critic scores arrive for Marvel's What If series, written by John F. Trent, published earlier today. What if stories, of course, are basically alternate universe type stories. Like, what if this happened? What if things went in this particular direction? So, and we know that there was a big outcry when the Captain America page was taken over by Captain Carter, Peggy Carter, because she's a white woman replacing a black man. So anyways, Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic scores have arrived for Marvel Studios and Disney Plus upcoming animated series, What If? There you see at the forefront there. Marvel's What If is described by Disney as, quote, a series that reimagines famous events from films in the MCU, creating a multiverse of infinite possibilities. Quote, What If features fan favorite characters Peggy Carter, T'Challa, Doctor Strange, Killmonger, Thor, and more. The series is directed by Brian Andrews, with AC Bradley as the, what if stories are always like alternate version, like, what if instead of turning right, you turn left? What if instead of going forward, you went back? So anyways, Rotten Tomatoes. On Rotten Tomatoes, the show currently has an 82% rating from 11 critics. There are 9 fresh scores and 2 rotten scores. The average rating is 7.6. Okay, yeah, 82. Yeah, 7. All right, 7.6 out of 10. Okay. Here's what the critics are saying. Grace Randolph at Beyond the Taylor gives the show a fresh score. She writes, quote, Marvel enters the animation arena very aggressively and effectively. MCU fans will be over the moon with this show. And Captain Carter is a fantastic new addition, unquote. Jeffrey Lyles at Lyles Movie Files gives the show a 9.5 out of 10. He writes, quote, should thrill Marvel Cinematic Universe fans with these fascinating alternative scenarios for some of the most beloved MCU stories, unquote. Lauren Coates at Awards Watch gives the show a B. She writes, quote, despite some issues with pacing and a relatively mixed bag of one-off concepts, there's more than enough charm, imagination, and pulse-pounding excitement to make What If a worthy addition to Disney Plus's Marvel repertoire. Unquote. Let's see. Let's see what they're saying here since I. Sorry, didn't mean to derail. No problem. I just noticing something. I am still here and like this chat. Yep. Thank you. Ditto. What if you're sitting around an outdoor fire in my backyard? Yeah, that might be a nice scenario there, 80. Will you make new video on your channel? It's been over a year. I haven't. Yeah, I haven't. Okay, first off, I don't do the stagnant video. I mean, I still am. I know it's been a while since I've done a squared circle calendar. I don't do any more. I actually completed the VA profiles because I was going to devote more time to streaming. I may at some point get back to the squared circle calendar videos because I think I was up to early 1976 there. Some point I may decide to get back to those for doing the wrestling history. As for like the standalone like videos like Beyond the Mics, that's pretty much retired. I do all my coverage now through my streams. So Beyond the Mic and Voices Big and Small are all pretty much retired. Squared Circle Calendar, I'll probably get back to that at some point, whenever I feel like it. Right now, everything's been more focused on my streaming and, the Mikestand. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now with that. Anyways, back to the stories, back to the article here. Aki Aurora at Gadget 360 gives the show a rotten score. He writes, quote, a galaxy-level cast for a TikTok-level Disney Plus series. Oh, boy. Marvel's, in brackets, first animated series, 3 dots in brackets, allows it to operate on a different canvas, in brackets, but the first 3 episodes don't push the envelope. What If feels like a footnote in the MCU. Well, that is kind of what ifs are. A lot of times they are like, because they're side stories. The whole idea of a what if story is, what if this happened? Because for every decision in your life, there's numerous decisions you can make. And whatever decision you make in each portion of your life has different tributaries, right? I mean, DC talks a lot about this with their multiverse, which is what leads to these what if scenarios. It's like, okay, here you've come upon all these different roads. Okay, which road are you going to take? The version of you on 1A may take one road, where 1B takes another, and 2 takes another, and 3 takes another, 5 takes, it's like, So Scott Campbell at We Got This Covered gives the show a 7 out of 10. He writes, quote, Marvel's What If doesn't quite maximize the potential of the premise. but the first 3 episodes are packed full of exciting action, Easter eggs, and major surprises, unquote. So generally, this does have a generally positive. Okay, Rodrigo Perez at the playlist gives the show a B minus. He writes, "quote Marvel's What If is entertaining and fun and an enjoyable remix of MCU Origins, but it could stand to have some more unique storytelling." Unquote. Well, again though they're kind of drawing from the material, the original material too. So anyways, I don't mind if women take the mantle. It's the quote unquote how and the quote unquote why that is important when doing so. Everyone knows there's an agenda behind it rather than just solely, you know, story rich and lore. Yeah, Drexel. I mean, I think we all get that. I think a lot of what's going on, particularly with the big two of DC and Marvel right now, is that they're more concerned about pushing agendas than really telling a good story. I know Flash has been all over them on this. I know Tug has been all over them on this. You know, that's why Tug doesn't. I think it's part of the reason why Tug, doesn't cover comics because his passion for comics has cooled a little bit. Actually, in fact, what we've seen in some of the sales numbers too is that if you really want to, reignite your passion, you have to actually go to the past to find some good storytelling from these companies. Usually, so. Anyways, back to the article here. Yeah, Rohan Nahar at Hindustan Times gives the show a rotten rating. He writes, quote, "What If opens up a world of possibility for Marvel, which it explores with enthusiasm, but also in an act of hubris with one hand tied smirkingly behind its back," unquote. I wonder if this guy's critique has more to do with the fact that maybe because he doesn't feel that they're going to represent him. If that's the case, Danielle Solzman at the Solzy at the movies gives the show a positive rating. She writes, "quote What If may be animated, but at the end of the day, this series is still canon and essential viewing," unquote. Caitlin Kennedy at Nightmarish Conjuring gives the show an 8 out of 10. She writes, quote, "endlessly imaginative and entertaining. What If stays firm in its roots while allowing the characters and fans to play in realms beyond," unquote. Jesus Agudo at Icar Catalera gives the show a 7 out of 10. He writes, "The first 3 episodes show a potential that has not exploded yet. In parentheses, ... an homage of what has happened and a statement of what's to come." Adam Barnhart at comicbook.com gives the show a 3 out of 5. He writes, quote, "Sandbox What If gets to play in is large and shows intriguing promise. First 3 episodes just hardly scratch the surface. It's a solid start, but this first batch of episodes leaves a lot to be desired," unquote. I think translation there is he wished it was more diverse. Wonder if this guy maybe one of the same guys who was like criticizing it for having Peggy Carter there take over the Captain America page from Sam Wilson. I wonder, that's kind of where I come from. Anyways, Tessa Smith at Mama's Geeky gives the show a 4.5 out of 5. Wow, that's a pretty good 4.5 out of 5. That's like a 9 out of 10. She writes, quote, Marvel's very own version of the Twilight Zone. What if gets dark with some unexpected twists and turns as we dive headfirst into the multiverse, unquote. Josh Wilding at comicbookmovie.com gives the show a perfect 5 out of 5. He writes, an instant animated classic, quote, what if delivers world after world of endless possibilities you need to explore, and if what we see from these first 3 chapters is any indication, Marvel Studios has delivered a mind-bending MCU masterpiece, unquote. And let's see, before I get into the Metacritic portion of the article here, let's check the time. 1:41, okay, and let's see if there's any. Hey, Batgoat, what up, man? Yeah, we've had some interesting conversations going on tonight as well as getting to these articles. So, sorry you missed out on a lot of it, though. So, anyways, getting back to the and as always, guys, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. It does help with the algorithm. Hopefully, we can get some more people in here. If you guys can help me out with that, that'd be appreciated. So, anyways, getting back to the trying to get to back to this article and finish it up, and then start to wrap things up. 80 waves high to bat goat. Hello, goat. I'm Woody. Okay. On Metacritic, the show currently has a 67 Metascore from 8 critics. It has 6 positive reviews and 2 mixed reviews. Okay. Let's see what some of the people on Metacritic are saying here. Here's what the critics are saying on Metacritic. Tyler Hersko at IndieWire gives the show an 83. He writes, quote, what if might not win over the superhero averse, but if you're a fan who has grown a bit fatigued of Disney's biggest franchise recently, this could be the antidote you've been needing, unquote. Brian Lowry at CNN gives the show an 80. He writes, quote, what if might be the most Marvel Comics thing Marvel Studios has done, translating the what might have happened if comic book concept from page to screen with all its geekiness intact, the highly stylized animation and access to key actors enhances the fun, creating an extremely logical Disney Plus add-on to an increasingly packed multiverse. Bob Strauss at the San Francisco Chronicle gives the show a 75. He writes, quote, the first 3 installments Disney made available for review pack a lot of fun ideas, drama, humor, eye-popping action, and fan service references into a well-balanced half hours. Okay, let's see. Richard Roper at the Chicago Sun-Times gives the show a 75. He writes, a relatively breezy and often humorous series that puts a quirky and borderline goofy spin on the Marvel timeline as we know it, unquote. Alan Sepinwall at Rolling Stone gives the show a 70. He writes, quote, it's fun simply because the level of quality control at Marvel is pretty high these days. give or take the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale, in parentheses. And because some of the ideas are either inherently appealing or are used to cleverly tweak what we know from the films, but not every installment lives up to the title's seemingly limitless potential, unquote. Okay. Angie Han at the Hollywood Reporter gives the show a 50. So this is probably one of the mixed reviews. She writes, quote, as it stands, what stands out is not the series' ambitions or its potential, but its limitations. What If promises to be a space for the kinds of weird or challenging or just plain silly ideas the live action properties will never touch, but then presented with these playful hypotheticals, um, it can hardly muster enough curiosity to wonder what happens next. Moment to moment, it's occasionally successful as fan service for diehards. Unquote. Clint Worthington at Consequence gives the show a 42. He writes, quote, while What If styles itself as the Twilight Zone of the MCU, it largely feels like the same beats played all over again, but with different characters copy pasted in each other. Well, sometimes but that's kind of the general take on What If stories to begin with. So, What If arrives on Disney Plus on Wednesday, August 11th, so tomorrow. What do you make of these critic review scores? Do you plan on checking it out? All right, so that's it for that story then, and that's it for all the stories tonight, all the main stories, anyways. Let's see now. Let's see what All right, so let's see. And don't forget my giving you a pat, Mike. Yeah, yeah, I saw that. 80. Okay. Uh, I did see that. Yeah. Hey, Batgoat, how are you, buddy? From Leto. Good to see you all. I golfed horribly once again. With enough practice, Batgoat, you'll be acing them all. I'm pretty sure. Leto, I think I'm down about 10 pounds now with all this golfing. No Nick tonight, correct? I haven't seen anything yet. I haven't actually seen anything yet on that. Seen any kind of nice pride of you, Batgoat. Proud. No Nick. And a bunch of Hey Woody. D, no Nick. I-80. I love the what if concept. Yeah, I mean, the what if is a classic concept. It's kind of, as I said, it's the idea of venturing out to other possibilities of things. Hey, a bat goat. Gonna call this a day. Then my internet is making Mike's stream skip. Well, I'm almost done. If you can hold on just a few more minutes, because I know we're at an hour 50 already, so I'll probably be wrapping up here pretty quick, Leto. So you can hang out a little longer. We can get this done pretty quickly. But Bummer, cool, bro. See you. Unwatchable at my end. Sorry, but all right. That I understand. Hopefully things will get better, later. But see y'all. Take care. All right. Thanks for dropping in, Leto. All right, guys. Well, as I said, we are at the hour 50 mark. We're down to the end. So I think it is a good time to kind of start closing things out here. Are you guys ready for this day in each history? History. Bring a note from your ISP. Ninjas. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, today is Tuesday, August the 10th, 2021. I do thank everybody for being here tonight. We prepare to wrap things up a bit here. So let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. And our first stop is going to be let's see. I'm going to take a little trip back 70 years ago today. As on this date 70 years ago today, the 55th issue of Glamorous Romances from Ace Magazines, known at the time as Periodical House Incorporated, went on sale on this date. As I've kind of hinted to you guys before, around this time, the 40s and 50s, they did have a lot of companies did publish romance type magazines. This is one of them. This comic, I think, started out as, let me see here, series info. Started out as 4 favorites and then became Glamorous Romances. It ran for 90 issues. At this point where we're at now, it runs as a bi-monthly romance title. But on this date, 70 years ago today, Glamorous Romances number 55 went on sale. So there we go with that one. There's that. Like a doctor's note. Laugh out loud. All right. So, anyways, moving on to the next piece in each history. Move ahead to 1996. That was 15 years ago today. As on this date, 15 years ago today, on a rare Saturday pay-per-view for professional wrestling, from the Sturgis motorcycle rally in Sturgis, South Dakota. WCW held its Hog Wild event on this date. In the main event of the evening, saw Hollywood Hogan, after he had joined the NWO, defeat the Giant, who everybody knows today now as the Big Show, Paul White. Hollywood Hogan would defeat the Giant for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Some of the other key matches on the night included Ric Flair retaining the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship over Eddie Guerrero, Harlem Heat retaining the WCW World Tag Team Championship over the Steiner Brothers, Rey Mysterio Jr. retaining the WCW World Cruiserweight Championship over the Ultimo Dragon. Medusa beat Bull Nakano. Let's see. The Outsiders defeated Sting and Lex Luger. Scott Norton. And then prior to the show, of course, they used WCW Saturday Night as the pre-show. So Saturday Night was live that night, and they used that as a pre-show to the Hog Wild pay-per-view. So 15 years ago today, WCW held its Hog Wild pay-per-view. And last but not least, 1996 was just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. As also on this date 15 years ago today, sounds like I can get to it. The Saturday morning cartoon, The Adventures of Hyperman, would conclude its run on CBS Saturday mornings. So, The Adventures of Hyperman was part of the CBS Saturday morning lineup at this time. On this date, 15 years ago as well, it would conclude its run on CBS. So there you go. So that's all for all that. Let me catch these last couple of chats, and then we'll kind of wrap up here. At 80 Pickle gives Leto a virtual hug because he is skipping. I ate ham today and went wild hog when doing so. All right. Well, anyways, guys, thank you all for being here tonight. I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. I'll get more people here. I think we did have a pretty good, crew tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the content. And as I remind you, Friday night, Batcode and I will be starting our coverage of March 1938 with DC, the usual fare there. And I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. Bye.